Welcome back. My name is Jacob, aka Star Wars Collective, and this is the Hyperspace Hangout, episode number 7. Today I am joined with a very special guest. His name is Hyperdrive Collections 6460, aka Paul. He is one half of the Stoned and Hyper show that debuts every Saturday on YouTube. Paul, welcome to the show. How's it going, man?
Pleasure to be here. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and it's nice to finally do this. We've been planning this for a while. I've been excited about it.
Good, man. Welcome to the show. We have been planning it for a while, so thank you for carving out some time to be here tonight. It really does mean a lot.
Oh yeah, sure.
Fantastic, man. So, Paul, Hyper, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into collecting?
So I am in my mid-50s now, and I have been collecting since day one. I remember walking into the department store with my mother and seeing Star Wars figures. Nobody knew what Star Wars was, or it was just on the horizon. And I remember I bought that day. I bought Hammerhead. And no, excuse me, not Hammerhead. No, he was not one of the first ones. I bought the Death Squad Commander, and
Nice.
so anyways, it was a cool figure, and I'm like, what is this all about? And then a buddy of mine down the street got Darth Vader, and then a couple of other guys we started making this collection, and we had no idea what was going on with any of the characters yet. So I still am a huge vintage collector, vintage Kenner collector. I have a pretty big collection of Kenner figures, and then over time, your time and your focus sort of shifts. And when the Black Series came along, I loved the 6-inch format. It was a lot of fun, and as someone who does a lot of dioramas and models. The 6-inch format was something new to try, but I also love the 4-inch scale, and I also have particularly fallen in love with the Micro Galaxy Squadron because that is a very conducive to making models as well. That's a good scale for models and things. So I dabble in lots of things. I even have some Hot Toys, Star Wars, but I've fallen in love from day one with Star Wars. It's been a huge part of my life, and here we are now. So there you go.
Hey, Star Wars brings people together, and it's brought us together. And I know you've made other friends and stuff like that through this wonderful community that we find ourselves in. And the fact that you started out with like the OG Star Wars figures. I mean, you are an OG in that sense. So I think that's pretty cool. Do you have any of those figures still? Or are they long gone?
Oh no, I have 711 vintage Kenner Star Wars figures right now.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I've got 3 complete sets and a lot of army builders. So
Wow.
I actually,
amazing.
when I first started the channel, one of my first videos was my wall of Star Wars figures, loose Star Wars figures that I had in those snap cases, and they're several deep on the shelf, and it's kind of a cool video. But since then, about a year ago, I've added more to it, and but no, that's still, those figures are very special, and I've collected the 4-inch line throughout. So then they had the vintage collection, Power of the Force 2, Episode 1. I loved all of those. And a lot of the vehicles as well. I love those things, but you start to run out of room for vehicles and stuff like that. So when the Black Series came along, it was a great way to sort of continue on collecting, but sort of be a little bit more condensed, so to speak, as far as what you could do. But I still like to refurbish and repair and the Kenner line.
That's great. They both have their own unique benefits to collecting, the Kenner and the TVC stuff with the world building and the vehicles. And then you have the Black Series, which tends to be more character and mostly character or figure based. That's what we get. We rarely get, we get some vehicles, but not as much frequently anymore. The recent ones being the Stap and the Bloodfin, the Darth Maul Sith Speeder.
Yep.
And I can't remember if there's any new pipeline. I don't think we do have any pipeline stuff. I mean, who knows? This could be it for a while. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think a lot of guys my age, we kind of live in both worlds, the 4-inch world and the 6-inch world. And I don't see what the big deal is. A lot of people are diehard one way or the other, and I don't see it that way. I think I like collecting both, and I don't see I know there's a lot of animosity sometimes, oh, one line gets this and the other line doesn't, and all of this, but I think Hasbro does a pretty damn good job sort of balancing act between what communities want. So obviously, if you have a 4-inch line, you can do a lot more environments and play sets. If you have a 6-inch line, those are pretty much right out because nobody has the room for them. So yeah. I understand that they have to strike that balance. And so if we do get a vehicle in the 6-inch line, that's just kind of gravy as far as I look at it. But,
yeah, just icing on the cake. It's not going to make or break the collection if you don't have it usually.
Hey, big shout out, by the way. There's the Stone Mandalorian is in chat.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Let's address chat here. We got 3 people in here. First off, we got Connor Colarusso. He says, "Hey guys."
Hey, Connor, I didn't even see you there. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, buddy? Connor, thanks for joining. We got the Stone Mandalorian, the one and only, the Black Series of Joe Rogan. He says, "Damn it, I'm late." You're good, bud. You are totally good, man.
Galactic Archive, Galactic Artisan Customs is here too.
Galactic Artisan bringing in the weekend right with the Hyperdrive Hangout. You already know, man. Right on, dude. That's so awesome. Thank you guys for being here. That really means a lot.
Thank you. Yes, indeed. And I wanted to just quickly shout out to the Stone Mandalorian. I know it's no secret. We have a show. In fact, we're doing another one tomorrow night. But thanks, buddy. I appreciate the support. And to all of you, that this is really cool. So yeah,
absolutely, man. This is so awesome to be able to do this, and to have support means the absolute world. So thank you so much. Wait, Hyperspace featuring Hyperdrive. Yep, exactly.
Right. I know there's a lot of hyper activity tonight. Yeah.
Well, welcome everyone to the Hyperspace Hangout live stream. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in while the stream is live. Appreciate you sharing your Friday night and your time. Also, much gratitude to those who are catching the replay. It also means a lot. Don't forget to hit the like button and drop a comment if you can, as it greatly helps the YouTube algorithm to boost our channel and the live stream as well. And if for some reason you're not subscribed to Hyperdrive Collections 6460, go give him a follow on YouTube. Smash his like button for all of his videos. He's got great diorama stuff. We got Jedi Master Jay. Glad to see you back. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, so for everyone who's here, you already know this, but if you don't and you just happen across this video, Star Wars Collective has one of the coolest Star Wars channels with a lot of historical content and theoretical things. And every time you drop a video, there are those creators on YouTube who you stop everything for when they drop a new video, and that is how I feel about your content. So
oh man,
I drop everything and I watch it as soon as I can. Yeah,
I appreciate that. Same goes for you and Stoned and all of our buddies too. I love what you guys do, and it's just inspiring to see you guys do your thing, and we each bring something different to the table. So I think that's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, right on, man. Well, everyone, we got lots to go over tonight. This is episode 7 of the Hyperspace Hangout. We're going to dive right into Rebel Recap. But before we do, we got to introduce you to a clip.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. But, sir! Oh, my! How rude. Oh, my. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to intrude. No, please don't get up.
Oh, my.
Oh, my.
All right, everyone. So we are not strangers to it, but we have a lot of Black Series news to go over. Luckily, we have some brand new stuff to go over that I know everyone is aware of. But hey, we're going to go right into it here. We have the new Black Series wave being found in stores. That is going to consist of the Praetorian Guard, Commander Cody, Captain Rex, Anakin Skywalker, the Cassian Andor Signar test pilot, Moff Gideon, and finally Savage Opress. That was kind of like the first wave that we got a couple weeks ago. So Hyper, did you pick up any of these figures?
So I found a really good deal on Savage Opress, and so I got him. I got Savage Opress. He is tucked safely away in my collection downstairs, and I absolutely. You and I were talking beforehand. I talked with Stoned about it. I talked with a lot of people about it. This is not just probably in the top 1 or 2 of the year, but we're talking all time. I think that's a fair assessment of this figure. It is so good in a lot of opinions.
Oh my gosh.
It doesn't disappoint.
It really doesn't. Like we were kind of talking about in the pre-show, there's not really anything that I can think of to say badly about the figure. So
right, and they did it right. They gave both the axe and the saber. So I thought maybe at first, are we only just going to get one or something like that? But that they gave him the appropriate loadout. They gave him really good soft goods. The articulation is fantastic. It's what else could you want, right? It's
exactly.
You don't mind paying a few bucks more for this one, really.
No, absolutely not. And no, that's the one picture that I don't have is of Savage. I could pull it up. But as far as the other figures in the line, Hyper, did you pick up the Praetorian?
So you have to remember, I live on a space rock in the middle of the ocean, so there is virtually nothing around. There's virtually no new stock on the shelves. I bought Savaggio Press at Walmart.com. I got a really good deal. I had a little bit of a gift card left over, so I applied it to that. But nothing is in my area at the moment. So
we're one and the same there.
Right. The other, well, that's not entirely true. I did pick up Kelnaka recently. And I'm gonna say I've been vocal about how much I don't think it looks like the character from the show. And I still say that, but it's a damn good figure. I like that figure a lot. And I just pretend it's somebody else other than Kelnaka, but
some other awesome Wookiee Jedi. Yeah,
some other awesome Wookiee, but it's a great figure. So those 2 figures I picked up. The other ones, not yet. I have yet to see them.
Okay. Would you, if you are you considering maybe just ordering them online, like say Captain Rex or something from Big Bad?
So yeah, I'm gonna pass on that Rex, that particular white clone armor Rex. The one I have is from the original Red and Black line. Now I know that's the Phase 1, and it's got the original Phase 1 helmet and all of that. So I probably should. Who am I kidding? I'll probably get them eventually. But it's not a priority for me. That particular clone is Rex is not a priority. But there are some, like I'm jonesing to get that Shadows of the Empire Luke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that 2-pack. I know it comes with the he's a hostage in the box with Leia, but I really love that figure. And you and I were talking. I was telling you I'm very partial to Shadows of the Empire, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, these look great.
Oh man, that is such a cool looking Luke, I think.
And the Leia looks wonderful compared to the last Bouche Leia that we had.
She does, yeah. I think that would be the one. And I got rid of my old Bouche thinking someday we would get an updated one, and we did. So it's not a total loss, this pack,
Yeah. Man, I'm gonna have to consider grabbing that, even though I'm not a Shadows of the Empire guy. And I'm guessing Moff Gideon, was that a pickup?
That's a pass for me. That's a pass for me.
Okay.
The Mandalorian figures, I love. I love the show. I really do love the show. But I thought Moff Gideon was kind of like the weak link in the show, and I'm okay without that one. Probably a pass.
And you probably already have that archive Anakin, if I'm not mistaken, right?
So would you believe I do not? I do not own any Clone Wars Anakin figures yet in 6-inch. This one here, I'm going to pick this one up. I've seen enough of the soft goods to convince me that I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to get it, definitely. You rarely see it in stores. Anakin is one of those figures you seldom ever see in the wild.
Right? Exactly.
Bullet and get them online or something. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, I think those are all worthy pickups for sure. As far as newer stuff, let's get into some of the newer things that we have from the Star Wars Celebration.
Oh yeah, I'm excited about these.
So I believe the first one that we're gonna go over is the new Chewbacca. So not only is this a new Chewbacca, and he has butterfly joints, which is, oh my gosh, just imagine the poses you're going to get out of
Yep.
this guy. But he's
Yep.
retooled to be a taller, I believe, reproportioned, closer accurate Chewbacca to the movies. So I believe he's a little bit taller. So I'm guessing this is a pickup for you, Paul.
That is a day one, buy two, keep one to archive forever figure right there. Absolutely. Yes.
Nice. That's awesome, man. We got, just to address chat real quick, we got Brian. He says, "What up, chat?"
What's going on, GXB?
Galactic Artisan says that Moff Gideon is an excellent figure. Actually, you can get some cool poses out of him, and that design is dope. Right on.
Yeah, I agree. I think the figure looks really cool. I'm just not as attached to the character, so I'm going to save up for an extra Chewie instead. I think.
Hey, there you go. I think that's worthy for sure. And it looks like he's got the bowcaster. He's got his satchel. Right. The only thing that don't know if I'm super into on this one is if you see right next to his hand, the arm hair that kind of, the hand hair that kind of dangles down.
Yeah, I like that, and I understand.
Okay.
I understand because if you were to hold it up perpendicular, it would not be hanging that way, right? So it's one of those
Good
things
point.
that's a little bit inaccurate, but I get it. I get what they're doing, and I'm willing to overlook any of those things to get that Chewy because it's been 12 years and we're finally getting a worthy Chewbacca.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Stone says looks fantastic.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I love the way the feet look great to me. I like the way the feet are sort of overgrown. I like that. Kind of has that.
Yeah, it does have that overgrown kind of matted look to it, huh?
And there's this real kind of like Sasquatch vibe with this figure. And I'm feeling it. I love it.
You get the Jack Link's beef jerky vibe from it.
Yeah, there is. There's kind of that look, and I like it. I like it in my Chewbacca figures. So
yeah, I mean he does look like Sasquatch kind of. So I mean, that's just part of Chewie. That's just how it is.
That figure in particular, there's something about that sculpt. Maybe it's the pose he's in, but I really like it, and there's a very squatchy vibe to it. Yeah. So
absolutely. And Stone is right. Everybody hit that like button if you can, please. Thank you very much.
Damn right.
Nice. Well, Chewbacca is definitely a pickup for me. It looks like this guy is going to be available. Let's see here. It'll tell us here on Hasbro Pulse. August. Oh, no, there is no expected shipping date on this one yet.
Okay.
So
I'm hoping it comes out. I'm hoping it comes out this year, obviously, as we all are, I think. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else we got here. All right, so I know Hyper is going to be excited for this one.
Oh yeah.
Some Dash Rendar from Shadows of the Empire, which Hyper read. He has read that story.
Many times. I've read that book probably 6 or 7 times. And it's just a great novel. Stoned, he knows exactly what I would say about this figure. This is probably number 1 on my want list since I created a 6-inch want list. So we're finally getting it. Yeah. And it looks almost exactly like the character, except for the fact that I feel like he should have a beard because all the other source material back in the 90s, he was bearded. But that's okay. We can paint a beard on him if we want, Hey, so it's all
there
good.
You go. Little custom Dash Rendar action there. You go.
Right. Now, when is this one slated to come out? Do we know?
So Dash Rendar looks like is slated for September 1st of 2025.
All right. So that is the number 2 figure of the year on my list. I can tell you that right now.
Okay. So Savage, then Dash.
Well, Savage is going to be on the top 5.
Okay.
But, I'll tell you in just 1 second who's going to be on the list. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
This is number 2 for me. Number 2 of 2025 already.
Wow. That's incredible. Yeah, he looks awesome. I love the metallic kind of finish he has on his like chest plate, and then the texturing on that kind of plaid or whatever that kind of pattern. See that kind of
like
triangle.
Yeah.
quilted pattern. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, looks like some great color on this, great paint texture and stuff like that, and fabric texture. So I think, you know what? I mean, I don't even play or read Shadows of the Empire, but I think I might pick this up too, just because of he just looks like a great figure and just to support the line.
So
So
if you're familiar with Dash Rendar, or if you're
mhm.
not, so he comes in at a time when Han has been taken off to Tatooine, and he's now hanging on Jabba's wall, and the Empire is really barreling down on the Rebel fleet, and they're kind of desperate to wrangle up some support and some help. They got decimated on Hoth, and they're sort of straggling. And long and the short of it, Dash Render comes in as a mercenary right before the Battle of Hoth, and the lore is that he was a Hoth pilot in a snowspeeder.
Oh, no
And
way.
then he's a smuggler. So a lot of people think, oh well, he's just taking the place of Han Solo while Han's in Carbonite, and that's really not the case. He's a very different character. There's similarities, sure, but he's a very interesting, like he's in my probably like top 10 favorite Star Wars characters, just from based on the lore. So
Oh, that's rad, man. Wow, sounds like a badass, kind of like a little bit Han Solo-ish.
Yes, you know what? He'd be a good one for you to do one of your in-depth editorials on.
Yeah, that's a
Sure.
great idea.
Yeah, he'd be a good one.
Do a Dash Rendar short.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right, let's see here. I haven't figured out how to continue sharing the screen yet without stopping sharing the screen.
Oh, dude, you're so far ahead of where I'm at. Don't even worry. All right, now who the hell is this?
Next up, we have this one, Hyper. This is Marin from the video game Jedi Survivor.
Oh, okay. All right.
And she is a Night Sister. So
she looks kind of cool. Yeah.
So she's got those kind of like Dathomirian Night Sister markings on her face and like on the bottom of her lip and stuff like that.
Right.
And she uses Night Sister magic. And one of the accessories that she comes with is like this green kind of magic spell casting thing.
Okay. All right.
That's pretty sweet, actually. So that's Marin. So she's gonna be, I think, like number 27 or something in the Jedi Survivor line. There's a bunch of figures that came out for that. So
right. So that's one where if you want this one, I am so happy for you. I'm probably gonna pass on this one. But it might be one of those when you see it, it's too cool to pass up. But I don't have any real knowledge of the game. It's a cool looking figure, but that's probably one I'd pass on.
Yeah, she's in both games, and a lot of people have speculated that they enjoy the look from the first game, her look from the first game as opposed to the second.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think in the first game she has more of like a Dathomirian Night Sister kind of outfit on, and people like that better than this kind of leather jacket look. But I mean, still, she's cool.
She has kind of like some Asajj Ventress vibes to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she's a badass too in the game. She's a cool character.
She definitely looks cool. Yeah.
All right, who else we got up here? We got, I think, one more.
Yes, that's right. Dash Rendar's ship, the Outrider, is pretty cool. That's coming from Galactic Artisan Customs.
Oh, okay.
Very cool ship. Very Millennium Falcon-esque.
Yeah.
And there it is. That's the number one figure of the year for me, and maybe the number one figure in the line all time. Like, that just is fantastic to me.
I love to hear that, man. I think that is so freaking awesome, honestly. And he does look incredible. Not comparing him to any other Han figures out there. Looking at you, SH Figuarts, which is fire.
Yep.
But yeah, he looks awesome. They killed it with the head sculpt. They killed it with the gesture on his left hand. It looks like he's got, I think, ball joints, but it looks like there may be a hinge there as well. The paint on his outfit looks great. Now, his pants were pretty blue in the movie, huh? So they even got the red striping down.
They were actually just blue jeans.
Oh, they're just blue jeans.
They were just blue jeans in the movie. Yeah, they made blue jeans. Yeah, but
man, that's so cool.
But like, look at that hair. So you can just imagine on the set in 1976 when they're making that movie, there was some like, some sort of person with like an avocado colored hair dryer and just poofing that feathered hair out. Look at that. That is insane how good that looks. And I can even see it. There's a scene where like he's just crawling into the booth with Greedo, and that his hair looks exactly like that. That is so cool that they did that.
They really did a great job with the hair sculpt. Probably one of the best we've seen in the line.
I think so.
And the face sculpt is, I mean, I see Harrison Ford. How about you?
Oh, totally. I think so. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this is going to be instant pickup for sure. Let's see when these come out.
Oh, absolutely.
This one comes out August 1st.
So for an original guy like me, the Black Series collecting in general doesn't get any better than this right here. That's the big three characters, the best version Hasbro's ever done of this character. We're looking at it. I'm excited to get that one. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
we got Doug Smith in the chat. Hey y'all. Hey Doug.
What's up, Doug? How you doing, man?
Uncle Doug in the chat. We got the Left-Handed Jedi. Hello, everyone. What's up, the Left-Handed Jedi? Thank you so much for joining in the stream. I think this is the first time I've seen you in so far.
Left-Handed Jedi. I think he showed up at our stream a couple weeks ago. That's right. Welcome back, man. Good to see you. Thank you.
Yeah, right. Nice to see you, Left-Handed Jedi. Thanks for your time and for joining us, everybody, for your Friday night. This is great that we get to do this. So, yeah, Han Solo, definite pickup alongside Chewbacca and probably Dash as well. Marin, I'm going to have to think about that one. I don't have any other Jedi Survivor figures, so that's why I'm a little bit hesitant. Now, one that I forgot to pull up a picture of, Hyper, was they are also releasing a Jedi Survivor Cal Kestis pack. And he comes with an alternate head sculpt, which is pretty sweet.
Yep.
And a couple other figures that's going for about $44.99. So that is, I believe, an Amazon exclusive. It's still up for pre-order on Amazon currently.
So I have 2 Cal Kestis figures already.
Oh,
they're
okay.
Pretty cool. I have the Gaming Greats, and then I have the other one that just came out. Like, I feel like it just came out last year? Didn't it come out last year? In the I know that the packaging is like the plastic free packaging, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I've got both of those, and they're good figures, but I think 2 is enough for me. 2 Cal Kestises is quite enough of Cal Kestis for me.
Yeah, your Cal Kestis is that. Oh my God, I can't even say it. You know what I'm trying to say. Cal Kested it out.
I'm all kested it out.
All kested it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Goodness gracious, English is hard, everyone.
Right.
So those are our Star Wars Celebration figure releases, which is pretty awesome. I think they're also releasing some more tonight. I don't think any of it is Black Series related. I think it's 3/4 inch.
I think that's a pretty damn good release announcement. Those are all pretty good. Something for everybody, I think.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. You're going to satisfy some of the video game heads with the Shadows of the Empire. You get some New Hope fans, some Star Wars 77. You get, again, more video game characters with Marin. So, yeah, right on, man, right on. So another one that we have, just to kind of figure out, to finish up and go over the Black Series news, Shock T. I know our buddy Stoned is head over heels for one of these figures out of the 3 new ones that got released at GameStop. Are you picking this one up, Piper?
I'm definitely picking up all 3 of those. Yeah. All 3, nice. The Shock T, Sebulba, and Luminara. Those are all 3 pickups. Yeah.
All 3. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. Well, we can now soft goods. Don't you think that the soft goods on these figures are probably some of the best we've seen? I mean, again, that pattern and kind of texture to our dress and tassel thing here is just incredible.
They're unbelievable. And way back when the Clone Wars 4-inch figures were all the rage, 15 years ago, they did versions of these figures with incredible soft goods in the 4-inch scale. And I own them, and they're wonderful. And I thought, so the Black Series had better live up to what they were doing 15 years ago at a smaller scale. because they were so good. They were unbelievably good 4-inch Clone Wars figures with soft goods and things. And
Yeah.
they really did. I think they knew. I think that Hasbro knew that they had to live up to something that they did 15 years ago at a smaller scale.
Yeah.
And I think that was weighed heavily on their minds, and they said, we got to kill it. And they did, and in particular, now I know that Luminara seems to be the least exciting of the three, but in my opinion, this is the one I want the most of those three releases. This Luminara
Is that right?
is there's something about that look. I really like that look. That screams Jedi or Egyptian temple goddess or something. It's just very cool.
I didn't even think of that.
Sort of or maybe even almost like, it reminds me a little bit of a geisha or something. I love this look in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Timbo Toys in the house. Hey, y'all.
What's going on, man?
How's it going? Thanks for dropping by.
Right.
We got also Chris G. Got my Luminara and Shock T today, and my goodness, are they awesome. Got Gideon too. His helmet is really loose though, but still a great fig. Right on, Chris G. Thanks for stopping by. First time seeing you here in the chat. Really appreciate you for hanging out on your Friday night. And you might be able to fix the Gideon helmet loose if you put them in the freezer for like a half hour. It might tighten up the plastic.
Chris G, which one do you like better? Do you like Luminara or Shock T better? I'm just curious.
Yeah, Chris G, let us know which one you like better. We're very interested.
Yeah, they're all awesome. The Sebulba, I know a lot of people, Sebulba's their favorite of those three. And they seem to group those three together as they were released at the same time. So,
speaking of Sebulba,
that's fantastic. Look at that thing.
This one is just insane. I mean, the purple shading on his skin to his pod racer helmet to the beads in his little like tendril thing, his ear flap. I looks like chainmail down here on the very bottom too.
So the only thing that really makes me upset about the Sebulba figure is that they gave him his racing helmet. So why didn't they do it with Anakin? Right. So, because that's such a natural fit to put Tatooine Anakin with Sebulba. But now, you don't have Anakin's helmet. So, clearly they're going to re-release Anakin with a pod racer helmet, I'm sure. But it's unfortunate that they didn't do that. But
yeah,
this Sebulba figure is just incredible. That's another one that's going to find its place in the top 10, top 12 of my list this year for sure.
For this year, okay, all right. And he comes also with a couple accessories. I think the helmet, if you count that as an accessory, and the frog thing as well.
Yeah, definitely.
To address chat real quick, Galactic Artisan Customs, does it stay tight after the freezer? Does it loosen as it thaws? Ooh, you know what? That's a good question. The one character that I did use it, I ended up using for a custom, so I ended up taking it apart anyway, because I had put the ball joints on another ball jointed character and it stretched out the opening. So anyway, maybe that's not a good idea to put it in the freezer, Galactic.
Hey, speaking of customs, somebody, our host has been killing it with the Rit die lately. Nice job on those figures. Those figures look fantastic.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. I learned from the best. What can I say?
You got those figures on hand? You got them close by?
You know what? I actually do.
Oh,
you want to check one out real quick?
If you guys haven't seen these, and Chris G got back to us too.
Oh, he did. Let's see. What did Chris say?
Luminara by a hair. All right, Chris G.
Okay, nice. All right,
Chris G.
Right on, Chris G. Thanks for letting us know there. Let's see. How do I make?
He's on Team Hyperdrive, right? Yeah.
How do I make myself big? There we go. So this is one of the custom figures that I've done recently. This is a kit bash between the Master Soul figure from the Acolyte. That's the body here that I Rit dyed in black graphite Rit dye. And then ended up throwing on the neck. You can see his collar from the Figrin Dean figure. And ended up making a pretty sweet custom Force user here.
That looks factory. It really does look factory. That's what I love about the Rit die, is it lays down so perfectly that it looks for all the world like it came from the factory, don't you think?
Absolutely, Hyper. You said it so well, man. It's like factory perfect out of the out of the die once you dry it off and get it all cleaned up and stuff. So,
and this is why also that Master Soul figure, I put him on my top 12 list of 2024, not because of the character, but because of the value in that, because that was a blank canvas and I knew that Rit die would lay down on it, and it just looks there's so many options with a basic Jedi figure like that, and you just proved it, man. That looks fantastic.
oh, thank you, dude. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, we got some chat. It looks really good from Timbo, another customizer himself, Timbo Toys.
And Timbo, who's no stranger to the Rit die.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Timbo is no stranger to the Rit die. Right. Right.
Yeah, Stone's right. Those Acolyte and Jedi molds are awesome.
Yeah, they really are.
Darth Tenebris.
Looks
like he's...
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so you doing that custom, you put that up online on your channel. The next thing you know, every single Master Soul on clearance is sold out within 3 days after that, right?
Everybody can find it at Ross and for $5.99, luckily, and you don't have to buy it from Big Bad for $25.
Right.
That's where I found mine was Ross, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn good figure. Figure.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Well, let's keep it moving here. We're going to continue on with Rebel recap. The next figure I'm very excited to get Hyper's input on. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Hyper, what do you think of the SH Figuarts General Grievous from Revenge of the Sith?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep. You bet. All day. Right?
All day.
It's going to be properly scaled. It's got the cape. It's got, I don't think they're going to, SH never cheaps out on like the extra accessories and things. You're going to get your value out of that. And, the only thing, and this used to be an issue with them, and it's no longer really an issue, was sometimes they were slightly underscaled compared to the Black Series, but those issues have been resolved over the last couple of years. So I think SH doing this, that's it, right? That's what everybody wants, I think, is an SH version of this.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely, I got to give it to you there. You're absolutely, I couldn't have said it better. What do you think, though? He does have some weathering on his face that he doesn't actually have in the movie. Are you okay with a little extra weathering?
So the thing about General Grievous is he's in so many different media formats, between the 2D, Todorowsky, Revenge of the Sith, animated Clone Wars, video games, Lego. I mean, you name it, whatever Grievous. I think they kind of put Grievous into CRISPR and just sort of came up with their own, like, designer version of Grievous. They took elements of all the Grievouses we're familiar with and put it into one. And I actually like that. That way it's not scene specific Grievous. I think he fits well into just about anything. Some general wear and tear is not a bad thing. And, I think that, nitpicking, well, he's got weathering, in my opinion, is, it's moot, because maybe the Grievous I like is the 2D Todorowsky, and so there's going to be elements that I see in this figure that appeal to me, and it's going to appeal to the Revenge of the Sith person too, I think. So I think they did a nice job with it.
Me too, man. And this will probably be the definitive General Grievous out there in the scale, because the Black Series one is terrible.
It sucks.
And the Bandai model kit is getting expensive now, and it's also a model kit, so you can't exactly, you can't be as forgiving robust with it. Right. Yes, robust with it. Yeah, exactly. So
this will probably be, in my opinion, maybe, I mean, let's face it, this could be like the Star Wars collectible of the year, right? Like, I mean, this is the one where it's going to sell out, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Hopefully we'll be able to get it, and we don't have to pay some crazy import price, but usually import prices aren't too bad.
They're not bad. And Stone and I were talking about it the other day. I can ship a box to my son in Virginia, and it takes 3 weeks to get it there.
Oh boy.
My house. but I can get a box from Japan in 4 days. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And the shipping is more reasonable than sending a box to Virginia. So
Yeah.
who knows, you know? But
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's too funny. I know DHL sometimes it's like a horse and buggy, huh?
yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm glad to get your input on the General Grievous. Appreciate you for the information, and I'm glad that you're going to be picking it up as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So it wouldn't be Star Wars talk without a little bit of more Japan exclusive celebration news that we've all probably seen, but we are going to get into it anyway. For those of you who don't like it, I'm sorry, but we are going to get into some Hot Toys talk real quick. I know. So Hyper, this sold out very quickly, and I wasn't expecting to get it at all, and that's totally fine. But what did you think, man? Do you think this is a cool looking figure? Do you think the artisan one that came out beforehand is better?
So there's something kind of janky about this face, in my opinion. Like it doesn't quite hit the mark to me.
Mhm.
And I have a lot of don't have a lot of them, but I have some Hot Toys, and they always seem to get it right. This doesn't
Mhm.
look right to me. You know, I don't know. And the rooted hair is, I'm not feeling the rooted hair personally.
Right. The
And
wool hair. Yeah.
yeah, and that's cool. If you do, you do. I mean, hey, have at it. Um, you know, my personal favorite Anakin Skywalker is episode 2 Anakin Skywalker, the one people like the least. But I'm actually saving up for the Hot Toys episode 2 Anakin Skywalker.
Very cool.
Yeah, this one here, this is a pass for me all day long. I don't even like the red lightsaber because he doesn't ever have it. At least, it seems kind of a weird choice that they would give
Mhm.
him a red one.
It's
Uh,
more concept, right?
I guess so. Yeah, yeah. But I don't know. It's just, yeah, what is this trying to be? Like, it doesn't know what it is to me. Is it Darth Vader? Well, if it's Darth Vader, then it's the Revenge of the Sith Darth Vader, and he has a blue lightsaber. If it's
Right.
Anakin Skywalker, then it means something else, So I don't think it's kind of got like an identity crisis to me.
Hmm.
It's calling itself one thing, behaving as another, and looking like a third thing,
Yeah. Jedi Master J says it looks better than any other Annie faces I've seen in figures. You know what? The one that Hyper's after, the Attack of the Clones one, does look really good still.
That is a really great.
Yeah.
I'm actually doing a diorama. I'm revisiting Tatooine. We're doing the swamp diorama right now. And
Yeah.
thank you everyone for doing that. I've got a lot more work done on it, and I have to film it and get it done this weekend. But the swamp diorama is really going to be cool when it's done.
Mhm.
Thank you for your support. And then we're going to go to Endor, and we're going to do an Endor diorama, and then we're returning to Tatooine, and we're doing episode 2 Anakin on Tatooine. You can probably imagine where we're going with that.
Ooh, very nice. Okay. So
So
maybe some Geonosis stuff. Or sorry, you said Tatooine. So
Tatooine, yeah.
okay.
And because of my Tatooine Anakin thing, I'm now obsessed about getting the Hot Toys Anakin, because you know how it is. You start obsessing about one particular thing, and then you're like, oh yeah, why not buy the $500 Hot Toy to go with it?
Yeah, especially it's one of your favorite movies too, Attack of the Clones.
It is.
Star Wars.
Of the prequels, that's my favorite one.
Mhm.
Yeah. I just love that movie. And the Anakin scenes are a little corny, but who cares? So
Sand. I hate sand.
yeah, I like it. I think that's it kind of endears Anakin to me, that some of those corny dialogue things,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving on to the next figure that they released is Cassian Andor. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not super stoked on this one. I wasn't going to pick it up anyway, but I loved Andor, and just despite him being just a dude, he is just a dude. So
Yeah.
it's like he's not a trooper, he's not a Sith Lord or something like that. So
The character is he's a very good character within the Star Wars universe, but he's kind of an underwhelming design. It seems like every time you see Cassian Andor, he's underwhelming.
mhm.
I think if you're going to do Cassian Andor 12-inch hot toy, you go with that awesome TIE pilot outfit, right? Like
Yep.
that's what you do. This kind of looks like the guy who I had to artfully dodge loitering at the 7-Eleven.
Yeah, right.
Like he's that guy. He's
Yeah.
like, hey man, you got like $2 and a cigarette. Like I don't need that. But
I think you worded it perfectly. Yeah.
Right.
He's just a guy.
He's just a
He's
guy.
nothing to write home about necessarily.
Right. He needs just a few bucks in gas money to make it home. Right.
Yeah.
We've all heard. Yeah. He's that guy.
Next up, we got that pairs well with the Cassian Andor is the K2SO 6-scale figure. So this one is cool, I think, because the light up function in the eyes is finally USB-C powered. So
I actually owned a K2SO 12-inch figure, Hot Toys, and I traded it a couple years ago, and I loved it. And I'm very sorry to have traded it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was extremely cool. And so I think I would seriously consider this one. Yeah, I would seriously consider this one.
Yeah, LED light up function powered by USB, comes with a cool stand. It does come with a blaster rifle and a blaster pistol.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I imagine you can leave him plugged in and he'll look awesome on the display being lit up. See, that's the one thing about the C-3PO from Attack of the Clones is that it runs on those button cell batteries.
Yeah.
And his eyes are gonna die out really fast and he's just gonna look like he's shut off.
Exactly. So yeah, exactly.
It's kind of a bummer because that figure is really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
So those are our Hot Toys talk. Just wanted to touch base on everything real quick. Why not? And the next one I'm really excited to get your perspective on. Now, this is a figure that's been out for a little bit of time now, and a lot of people are starting to get their orders in. So this is the Maximum Series Spider-Man from Marvel Legends. This is one of their first Maximum Series figures that they've ever done. Hyper, I know you're more of a Batman guy. Do you collect any Spider-Man stuff?
So I used to, but I sort of ducked out of the Marvel Legends game years ago because I felt like I was not just buying the same character over and over again, but I was buying the same book over and over and over again. And I looked at my Marvel Legends collection and it was identical with the exception of like the color and the head sculpt because they used the same Bucky Cap body forever, or they used the same Black Panther body forever and ever and ever. And I understand. I get reuse. But I feel like Marvel has just gone to the well too many times and I sort of bowed out of it. And that's fine. But I know there are some hardcore Marvel Legends fans out there. The Maximum line. So Stoned and I have talked about this many times on the show, but I'll say one more time. So I see a trend over decades of collecting, and I bet other people in chat might understand this. You start to notice that companies like Hasbro, so they want a justification for raising the price on figures, the basic mainline figures, but they can't necessarily raise it up $4 overnight because everybody would object. Mm-hmm. So what they do is they come out with a subline or a new line, Marvel Maximum, and they charge $50 to $80. The Hulk is going to be like 75 or 80 bucks, 55 for Spider-Man. And then they release 5 or 6 figures in that line, and then they cut the line from underneath your feet. Mm-hmm. And what they do is they say, oh, that was no longer. But now in the same breath, they also raise the price of the base figures $5. Now you're not paying $55 for those figures. Now you're only paying $5 more. And that's how they do these things. So it's almost like a bait and switch. It's like a very convoluted bait and switch. And so what I worry about in the collecting community is practices like that are damaging because to me, in my opinion, because there isn't really, I don't think Hasbro has any real intention of going 30 or 40 figures deep with Marvel Maximum. I think they have a plan to go 5 or 6 figures deep, cut the line, raise the price on the main line, and keep going. And that's where they're going to really get us. So they're going to make their money, and it's almost going to be like they're going to be doing us a favor by only raising the price $5 on a basic figure. And what
Yeah.
you're starting to see already, if you look across the board, all these things are now starting to climb by $3 or $4 almost overnight as a result of these things. So, this is what I worry about. So I don't collect Marvel anymore, but I'm sure they're going to do a similar thing in Star Wars and all these other things. So,
Right.
I'm gonna try not to fall down that rabbit hole personally.
And if Hasbro ended up doing like a maximum series, like say they ended up doing a maximum Vader, for example, would that be something you'd be interested in?
I don't think so. I don't think
Okay.
I would.
Mhm.
I would be very interested in an updated Vader with pinless joints and things like that,
Yeah.
and a wired cape. But that doesn't necessarily have to be a $60. Because the other thing too is if it's a $55 figure in Marvel Legends, it would be a $65 figure for Star Wars just because of the Star Wars tag, right?
That's true. Yeah, the license. Yeah.
The license and all of that, And I know that Marvel and Star Wars are relatively compared, price wise. A Marvel Legends and a Black Series are $25 a piece, but they take liberties with those deluxe things. There's a lot of fluctuation in pricing, and they can basically price it whatever they want. And Star Wars is always going to be on the high end for that. So I think that a maximum Star Wars Vader would easily be $60 to $65.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a little too much, and I think I would rather have just a standard upgraded Vader for that. Yeah,
definitely, I think so.
Interesting, very interesting. Well, thanks for giving your perspective on the Marvel Legends stuff. That's always very interesting, in my opinion.
Do you collect Marvel Legends?
I don't. No.
Yeah.
I was thinking of like snagging this Marvel Legends Maximum Spider-Man, but then I was like, you know what? I don't know. I don't want to pay that price, and I don't like the accessories. So maybe save it for the Mafex or something.
The only one that I'm interested in this year is the Professor X. I would like the Professor X on the vintage X-Men card back. He's in a green suit.
That's
I would
cool.
I would like that one. He comes with his what do you call it? Headpiece thing. And I've seen pictures of it online. I would be interested. I might maybe buy that one, but I don't think so. Nothing else. Yeah.
So just to keep it moving, Hyper, because I know you only got 2 hours max.
Oh my God, is it really? Oh my God, we're already an hour in.
We're already almost an hour in.
Wow,
can you believe that?
Wowzers!
Time flies, man. So some new MacFarlane DC multiverse figures. This is one of the newer Batmans. Have you seen this one yet, Hyper?
Yeah, I have, and I'm going to pass on the Old West Batman. I try to stay away from those really caricaturized ones. I don't do any of like the 1700s or pirate Batmans or any of that stuff. Caveman Batman, I don't do those.
Caveman Batman, yeah, right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't need that. I'm gonna pass on this one. It's cool if you like that type of a thing. It's cool, but that's not my Batman scene. No.
Okay. Have you seen? I'm sure you've seen all the Batmans. Then this one as well.
Yeah, that one is a little bit outside the realm of the Batmans that I collect, but it's really cool, and if I see it, I would consider that one. I would consider it, but still, that's a little bit outside of my Batman parameters, if I'm being completely honest.
Okay, hey, I like the honesty. I don't even know what it's necessarily from, so
I don't either.
I'm not necessarily gonna need to have this. So
yeah.
What about this guy here?
Now, which one is that? Now, let's see.
So this one is, I think, the year 2 Batman or something like that.
Okay. So that one, now we're talking. That's kind of like my Batman wheelhouse. He's got like a traditional suit on, not some demon spawn cowboy thing or something, So that one is pretty cool. Yeah, I could see. What is he? Does he have like a mace in his hand or something? What is that?
Yeah, it looks like he's got like some sort of almost like a morning star or something, and he's got a pistol strapped to him. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's that's kind of out there, but I kind of dig it. Yeah, I
Mhm.
really kind of dig the shoulder piece. Like that's all right. Now we can
Now we're
now we can
talking a little
talk. Yeah,
bit. Okay.
I might pounce on that one. Yeah.
All right. Now another one that I thought was interesting because you said, "Oh, he's got a gun." Look how many guns this one has.
All right. Oh, so that's kind of like a re-release of one they did before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a re-release. That's so they did one in all black a couple of years ago when MacFarlane first started doing it. And I actually passed on that one because
Mhm.
the guns are all molded together. They're not, you can't take them off or hold them. They're sort of like this massive plastic thing, which is not as cool because you want to be able to like have him hold them and stuff, you know.
Sure, exactly.
It's a cool looking Batman. If that were a Batman with articulated weapons and that could be held, that's an all dayer. But I don't know, probably not. Probably not
Probably
that
not.
one. Yeah.
Hey, fair enough. You can only if it's not your shelf, it's not your shelf. You can only go with what you like and
Right.
what genuinely feels good. So
Yeah.
now this one I think is going to be my favorite out of all of them. This one
Now
looks pretty sick.
that one is talking to me. Yeah. That's what's up, right? You got it's kind of cool because it's like black, blue. There's like
Yeah.
batarang in the mix. There's a classic belt. Like, yeah.
There's no bat symbol on the chest either, so he's kind of a little more incognito Batman, maybe.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling. Is that a wired blue cape too? Yeah,
Yep, wired blue cape. Yeah.
I'm feeling that one. That's a pickup. That's a
Okay.
pickup. I can say for sure. Yeah.
Nice. That's I believe the 1 in a million Batman or something like that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll take two. Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Okay. And then kind of getting into what we were talking about pre-show is this is the Beast Kingdom Dynamic Action Heroes Batman. This is one that was on pre-order, sold out, pre-order sold out again. So this is just a very desired Batman. I know everybody likes this Batman variant. So yeah, Hyper and I were kind of discussing that this may be the way to go potentially after the MacFarlane line ends, is to maybe go with something like a Beast Kingdom.
Now, Doug, I want you to admit that this Beast Kingdom Batman is right up our alley, right? Like Doug, look at that thing. I know you're going to pass on the other ones, but that one, come on now. And it's 8 inches tall. Oh yeah, that's happening.
Yeah, these ones look really good. And switching over to my favorite Batman, The Dark Knight.
Oh yeah, that's a good looking Batman too. Yeah, and that's a Beast Kingdom one as well.
And that's a Beast Kingdom as well. Yeah.
So see now that's what I'm talking about. So you can spend $55 on Maximum Spider-Man and get a 6-inch, but for the same dough, you can buy an 8-inch tall Batman. Yeah, I think that's a better deal. Like,
yeah,
if you like Batman and Spider-Man, like that's kind of like that's a
like you said, no brainer for 55 bones. You can get one of these things,
right? Now, granted, it's not going to fit in your 6-inch scale, but you're not talking about that with this, right? This is a whole different thing altogether.
Yeah, this is like on its own. Whoops, I already showed that one. This is like on its own. Its own thing. Now, this one, I don't know why it's so expensive. Oh, it's a statue. My bad. All right. I'm getting ahead of myself here.
I think Beast Kingdom is going to sell the hell out of some Batmans at that price. At those $55 mark there, that's a good deal.
Yeah, I was thinking of snagging one, and if I do, I'll let you guys know. What the quality is like. Stone says it looks sick.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Well, hey man, we did a Rebel recap, and it took us a little while, but that's okay. We got through it.
Hey man, that's fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Like the lightning round,
Yeah, right. Figure lightning round.
Right, exactly. Right.
So I know I only got you for about an hour left, so I'm going to try to make good use of the time here. So
sure.
I do have some cool questions for you. This is a segment that I came up with one of my first guests. So this is Questions with Hyper, episode 7, Hyperspace Hangout. Yeah.
Yo, all right, let's do it.
Before we do, I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone who's stopped by tonight. We did get up to 15 people. We had the chat just absolutely popping off for a second. So thank you so much. It really does mean a lot for everyone hanging out on your Friday night.
Now, everybody in the chat, let's make a concerted effort to beat the number of people in chat than from when Stoned was on the same program. I need at least one more, right? I think the high water mark for Stoned was like 18 people, wasn't it? Was it
Okay.
18?
Did it get up there?
I think it was, yeah. So let's get 1920 in here. Let's put it to bed.
We still got time. We still got time.
Right, exactly.
Stone says, F that.
Right.
Right on, Stone, dude.
Right.
So, Hyper, I know we kind of talked about what got you into collecting, but what got you into wanting to customize your own action figures and build your own custom diorama displays?
So when I was, like I said, Star Wars came out when I was 5 years old, and we were buying figures right off the bat. I was buying figures, and then probably when I was about six or seven. I mean, not much, not far into it. When I was a kid, building models was a big thing. Building models was huge. And so we had like these testers, at 7 years old, you'd get like a model and you'd get a whole thing of testers paint, and you'd go to town in your room for hours and hours. And that's how we grew up, doing stuff. And I was very interested. Like I realized right off the bat, and remember, we didn't have, so like VHS tapes and Betamax tapes and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. When I was a kid, we didn't even have that. Like Star Wars was in the theaters for 6 months and then it was gone, and you had to do it all on memory or like Starlog magazine. There was like Starlog magazine was this really cool publication that would like sort of revisit the movies that came out, like monster movies and Star Wars. And I had this subscription to Starlog magazine, which, by the way, everybody needs to check out Starlog at one point in their life, because that was like where like kids could like get legal cleavage pictures. You know what I mean? Like and you're like, and they're like your grandma would buy it for you for Easter, and she had no idea. Mm-hmm. And you were like, thanks, Grandma. Thank you so much.
No way.
And she's like, oh boy, you love that magazine, don't you? I'm like, I sure do, Grandma. But anyways, they would have all these behind the scenes. Starlog was big with like behind the scenes and makeup and concept art back in like 82, 83. Mm-hmm. And they started putting pictures in the magazines, and then they would show like different characters and Greedo with his vest as opposed to just the all green Kenner Greedo. And I got to it. I got started to make my own. I did like camouflage stormtroopers and like, different colored stormtroopers was a big one, because they were like a white canvas to paint on, and like R2-D2, like, you had all these different droids in the Rebel ships, but you didn't have them as figures. So you'd get out your paint and start painting up R2-D2s and stuff, so. Yeah. And as you get older, some things just never die. And, I kept doing it. But it's funny, just stupid story, but I was in high school, and my buddy and I, he was a pretty artistic kid. In fact, he's now a professional commercial artist. And so he and I, we were doing this book report, and it was, I'm sure everybody probably still has to read this book, All Quiet on the Western Front.
No, I didn't read that one.
Oh, it's a really good book. So it used to be like standard. Everybody had to read All Quiet on the Western Front. And we did this diorama, and it's about like Eastern European World War II battles. And all these kids, like they did like, they didn't put any effort into it. And me and my buddy Chris, we did this whole like battle table. It was like a whole card table. We set it up. We had lights and stuff on it. It was unbelievable. And the teacher was like, are you kidding me? Like, what is this? And we were like, yeah, we put some time into it, And I remember the reason I mentioned it is because the newspaper came and started doing pictures of it, and he interviewed us and everything.
Oh, no way, man.
So, it was kind of cool. It was kind of cool. And they put it in the library. Like, it was kind of a thing, And from there, I just never stopped and just keep honing your craft and doing it. And, as figures and paints and things got better and better, you just kind of follow it down that line. Yeah.
Wow, man. So you started really young. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so of course,
Mhm.
back in the late 70s, early 80s, your parents would give you like, here's a number 11 X-Acto knife with 28 blades, some, some lead paint, and and you'd start putting together these models,
Yeah.
and here's some firecrackers to go blow it up in the backyard too, and that was how it was back then, or take your
Yeah.
pellet gun out and go shoot your figures, so
Yeah, yeah.
we were doing stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Start them
man.
young.
What fun, dude.
Yeah.
What fun. And the fact that you're still making figures and customizing now is really awesome. And it's fun to see your process on your YouTube channel. So
Thank you. And if you're in chat and you haven't seen it, I'd love for you to stop by and take a look. I do a lot of custom figures, but custom dioramas take up so much more time that I try to do the figures in between. But I do a lot of GI Joe custom work as well. So yeah, I do that for fun. That's what I do. So
and it's fantastic work. Everybody make sure you go follow and check out Hyperdrive Collections 6460 on YouTube so you can just learn from his diorama stuff. That's how I got into customizing and doing the Rit die figures.
Yeah.
So and it's been a blast. So thanks again, Paul, for doing that and making such awesome content for us to learn from and try new art.
It's funny because you learn from people. You never stop learning in this hobby. And it was about maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and I went into a hobby store, like a sewing shop, and I was getting all these paints to do this figure, and the woman at the cash register was asking me like, well, what are you doing with all this paint? And I said, oh, I gotta paint my figures, but and I said, but I'm always trying to find the best paint to use because the paint rubs off on certain parts. And she says, well, have you ever used Rit dye? And I'm like, what? And she was like a 90-year-old lady, and she's like, oh yeah, I use Rit dye, it dyes plastic really well. And I had never heard of it before. So like, when you go to these shops, if you go to a hobby store or any type of sewing store where they sell crafts and hobbies, don't be afraid to talk to the little old ladies, because guess what? They know what they're doing. They've got all kinds of great ideas. And I think the Rit dye was one of the coolest ideas I've ever heard. And it came from someone who didn't even know anything about the hobby. But
Wow.
yeah.
Wow, that is too cool. That's an awesome little backstory for the Rit die.
Yeah. Just follow some little old ladies. Don't stalk them, but like follow them to the sewing department, and you're going to learn a lot from them, like a lot. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So Hyper, moving it along, my friend, if you had to choose one, and this is choose one for life, Star Wars or Batman, which one would you pick?
Oh, I'm going Star Wars all day long.
Okay.
But having said that, so Batman precedes Star Wars by decades.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was a kid, up until the age of 5, it was Batman all day, every day. Superman, Batman, and the big tall GI Joes. Some of you guys might remember the big tall 12-inch GI Joes.
Yeah.
And I didn't, before we knew anything about Star Wars, the Batman, Superman, and the GI Joes. And then of course, Star Wars comes along, and I was all about Star Wars. But I mean, I can't ever. Yeah, Batman's in a distant third. Well, yeah, Batman's in third. GI Joe is second. Batman third.
Yeah. Okay, but Star Wars all day. I think is a great answer.
It's number one. Yeah, Star Wars is number one. But
nice. It's just got rewatchability. It's got nostalgia. It's funny. So I think, yeah, spot on answer. And Doug said Star Wars as well.
Now, I will say, maybe the greatest comic book series I've ever personally read, and I've read a lot of comics in my day, the Batman versus Predator DC comic series is insane. That's awesome. Batman battles the Predator from the Predator movies, and you should all pick yourself up a copy of those, because that's a really fun read. So,
oh man, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So,
now, out of all the figures you've customized, which one are you most proud of?
So, I would say that's an interesting one. So, Of the Star Wars figures that I've done, I would say there was one I did years ago, and it was the bartender Werher from the
Mm.
Cantina. And I used a Rancor keeper, and it was a 4-inch figure, a 4-inch figure. And for those who don't know, scaling down to 4 inches, a custom figure at 4 inches is infinitely harder than 6 inches because everything is just the tolerances are much tighter and there's less room for error. And if you make a mistake, it shows up so much more on the smaller one than the
Mm.
larger one.
Yeah.
Because, like a quarter, if you make a cloth Jedi robe for a 4-inch figure, and the sleeve is an eighth of an inch off on one side and an eighth of an inch too short on the other, it shows up like crazy. If you make it an eighth of an inch too long on a 6-inch figure, you don't see it, right?
Mm.
And so this one Whirr figure I was very, very proud of. I wish I still own the figure. You know what? I'll take photos of it and put it on my YouTube channel so you guys can see it.
Yeah.
It came out really well, and it actually won a couple of contests when I used to go to conventions and do that type of a thing. So
Oh, no kidding, man.
But of the 6-inch figures, the 6-inch Star Wars figures, I did a custom Jedi, and it was a Chiss like Thrawn,
Mhm.
like a
Oh,
Thrawn,
yeah.
and I dyed the skin blue. It was a few years ago, and it just came out great. And I made soft goods robes and cloaks, and I just thought there was just sometimes certain figures come out better than others, and that one, I think that might have been my finest effort ever on that figure. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll show pictures of it.
I was gonna say, yeah, make sure to take some photos when you have some time and send it in the group chat or
Yeah, I
or
will.
post it on your YouTube. Yeah.
I'll dig them out and you'll see them. Yeah.
Nice. Right on. The good, cool little story, man. I'm glad that it won you some awards and just some convention hype.
Oh yeah. So yeah, thank you for asking that. That takes me back a little ways. Cool.
Nice. Good. Well, the next question is definitely going to take you back a little ways. I know that you served in the Coast Guard, and thank you for your service, by the way, everyone, if you haven't. Hyper was in the Coast Guard. So, Hyper, can you tell us a little bit about your time serving?
Yeah. So my uncle, I have an uncle Doug, and he just recently passed away actually in February,
Oh,
and he was a Coast Guard veteran in Vietnam, and he's from the same town that I'm from, and so he always told me, he said, the Coast Guard is that agency, that branch of the military that everybody forgets about, and they're always in the mix. They always go to war. You never hear about them because they're the smallest of the 5 branches. But so he said, remember, if you join the Coast Guard, you might go to war, and he was right. But the interesting thing about my uncle Doug was, so when we went to his funeral a couple of months ago, he won a Valor Medal for bravery, and the story, I had never heard this story in my entire life. He had never mentioned it to anyone, and it was a truly inspirational story of heroism. And you go, man, I was really affected by that story, never having heard it from him. He kept that, and he sort of didn't brag about it or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was a kid, I live on the Cape Cod, so the Navy and the Coast Guard and the Air Force are what we have, and the Marines too. We have a big joint base, and so it was kind of one of those 4 for me. And I joined the Coast Guard because one year when I was in junior high school, we did this experiment, and my class went out on a Coast Guard cutter, which is one of the Coast Guard boats. And we put these bottles in the water, and the experiment was, it was drift bottles, and every kid in the class put a drift bottle in the water, and then we were going to record where the bottles wound up and wherever they were in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But the real story is that these Coast Guard guys, they put us out on there, and they were like, okay, everybody drop their waters in the bottle, and we were all like, yeah. And they were like, anybody want to see some stuff get blown up? And we were like, yeah. you know. And so like the whole class is out on this Coast Guard cutter, and these guys have these 50 caliber machine guns, and they start dropping these old lobster boats, just sinking them. And we were like, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I think like 4 of us joined the Coast Guard later when we graduated high school because of that. You know, like it was sold. Just like, oh, we were so sold. We were so sold. We were like, you could do that? And they were like, yeah, we just did, you know. And I'm like, that's the one. That's the one I want.
Oh,
so,
man.
I went through basic training, which is Coast Guard boot camp is very, very difficult. It's so the Coast Guard and the Marine Corps, and I know there's a lot of Army guys who are going to say otherwise, but Coast Guard and the Marine Corps are generally considered to be the most difficult basic trainings. The Coast Guard is at least on par with Army and Marine Corps for sure, but at one time it was considered the toughest, and it is tough. It is really tough, and they have a huge dropout rate. But if you get through, then you get to pick what you want to do. And so I became a gunner. I was a gunner's mate, and I was a small arms expert. And, you know, I trained people in the range and did all this stuff. And then I got picked for the Coast Guard's version of special forces. We had a special operations.
Wow.
And I did a lot of really cool training and all kinds of really interesting scenarios, like real life. Like we actually went on real missions and did some really cool stuff. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was awesome. But, you know, then you get pregnant, you know, your wife gets pregnant and, you know, life changes. And, you know, I left after 7 years active duty.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, I loved it though. I think about it all the time, and it's very special, you know, but
what fun memories. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, my pleasure, man. Thank you for sharing. What a awesome backstory.
Actually, the one interesting thing about it was, so I'm on the I'm the one of the GI Joes that they made for the Coast Guard. They made probably 6 or 7. Way. I'm actually on the box. Yeah, that's me on the box. Yeah. So I was in Philadelphia, and we were doing a duty weekend. We're all sitting around waiting for something to happen, and one of us says, hey, you know, one guy was really into the 12-inch GI Joes, and he had them all over the barracks. And he's like, you know, they never made a Coast Guard GI Joe one. So we get the box, and we get online. It was the early days of the internet, and we get a Hasbro number, and we leave a message. We call Hasbro, and we leave a voicemail message at Hasbro. Hey, this is the Coast Guard base down in Philadelphia. Just wondering why you never did a Coast Guard GI Joe. Well, a couple of days later, they call the base, and they're like, hey, who left that message? And I said, it's me. So would you like to talk? So they come down a couple weeks later, and they meet me and my friend who called, and they're like, you know what? You're right. We need to make a Coast Guard GI Joe. Would you guys like to pose for the box? And we're like, are you kidding me? Of course we do, you know?
No way.
So a couple of months go by, they get in touch with us. My wife sees the whole thing. She was there and to watch the whole thing. And we're like on this old scrapyard. We're at the Navy boneyard where they have all these old Navy ships that are just rusting in Philadelphia. And we're racing around and we're jumping and they're doing all these action poses, and the artist is there drawing it and everything. And about, I don't know, within a year later, we get the notification that it released, and there we are. We go to Walmart, and me and my buddy Fitzy are on the shelf on the Coast Guard box. It was crazy,
dude. That is freaking mind blowing.
Crazy.
That is crazy to see yourself in the store.
Right. So the best part about it is when my kids were growing up, my kids would be in like school, and they'd be like, my dad is GI Joe, and nobody would believe them. You know, they're like, my dad is GI Joe. And they would like, so family, you know, like dads and other parents would come up and they'd be like, so what's this about GI Joe? And I'm like, yeah, here's the box. There it is. Read it and weep, buddy. Read it and weep, you know?
Right. What a crack up, dude.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What a fun story. Thank you for sharing that. That's really great.
Yeah.
Jedi Master J says great story. And Eternal Mother said fascinating hyper. Thank you for sharing.
No problem.
Yeah. Well, Hyper, I'm going to continue moving along because I know we
Yeah,
only got
yeah,
a limited amount of time.
yeah. You got it.
If you had to pick just one Star Wars film as your favorite, which one would it be and why?
So, all right. So we're going original trilogy. I am a huge prequel lover. I love the prequels,
Yeah.
but they're never going to capture what it meant to me as a child, because when those three movies came out, there was nothing that really could compare to Star Wars. And the prequel trilogy stands on the shoulders of the first three, and will never quite measure up as much as I like them.
Yeah.
And of those three, I'm going to say, so the original A New Hope was unbelievable. That was unbelievable. That hooked me. But The Empire Strikes Back is my favorite.
Okay. Nice.
The Empire Strikes Back. So, and when Darth Vader reveals himself as Luke's father in that scene, so we could not. And then Yoda, like when Luke meets Yoda on Dagobah, and R2 and Yoda fight over the lantern and everything. Like, I remember my cousins and me were just sitting in the movie theater, like we could not believe the magic. Like, it was unbelievable, So the AT-AT Walker is like,
oh yeah,
the AT-AT Walker. So Empire Strikes Back. Yeah.
Empire, and it's the one where the villains technically, win in that essence. So it's it adds on like an extra bit of operatic essence to it.
Cloud City,
Mm-hmm.
Boba Fett shows up, the bounty hunters. I can't even really describe. So when the bounty hunters meet on the bridge of the Star Destroyer, that moment when we ever see those ugly, greasy, grimy thugs, and that blew our minds, because we didn't realize that element was coming into Star Wars. And like, who are those guys? Like, who are they? We all wanted to know all about those bounty hunters,
Yeah.
So,
and I think in the deleted scenes, they go even more into, Dengar and Bosk and Forlom and Zuckuss and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, Gen X says Empire Strikes Back. Yep, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, ASB all day.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. Well, I think that's a fantastic answer. Another one that I had is there a character from Star Wars or Batman that you wish would get a proper action figure release?
A proper action figure release. Okay, so, oh man. So in Star Wars, yeah, actually, all right. And this is I'm gonna sound like like they're gonna be like, "Are you kidding me? You're putting this on your most wanted list?" But I am. I'm doing it. I want Lobot. I want Lobot bad.
Yeah. Okay.
I want Lobot bad, man. Like, I always loved him as a kid. He was that weird dude, and he was cool. So I would really love to see Lobot in the 6-inch scale. That would be kind of like my number one. And then I have this fascination and love for all the Rebel pilots. So I would love to see an A-wing pilot and a B-wing pilot.
Okay.
Those would be kind of like really, really at the top of my personal old man list.
I think those are good answers.
Now, when it comes to Batman figures, yeah, man, there's a few. MacFarlane did a Man-Bat figure, and if you're familiar with Man-Bat, it's the giant bat that looks like a bat with the leathery wings and everything. But I didn't like it. I didn't like the figure. It was very unarticulated. I would love to see a properly scaled Man-Bat Batman figure. I think that would be absolutely awesome. And if you've ever seen the one they did, it's not very good. So
I think I've seen it up on Big Bad, and it's like nothing to write home about.
Like the wings aren't even like the wings. The leathery wings are folded up, so it doesn't really. You don't get that vibe, So
yeah, I think those are good questions. I'm sorry, good answers to the questions. Lobot would be great. A-wing pilot would be awesome. And then the Man-Bat. I just got finished playing the Arkham Knight game, and there's a little side mission in there where you track down this doctor who was trying to come up with some sort of vaccine, and he got
Oh yeah,
transformed into Man Bat.
it's so cool. It's
Yeah,
so
it is cool.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, I would say, and the reason I didn't answer with this is because MacFarlane just announced the Batman Returns figure wave with Max Schreck and Catwoman and
Oh, no way.
the Danny DeVito Penguin. Those are fantastic looking figures. And
Oh, that's awesome, man.
yeah, I'm looking forward to those. That's definitely so they would be on my list, but they just got announced like 2 days ago. So we're all set. Yeah.
Perfect. So, even less to have to worry about now.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So getting back into some diorama talk, what's one tool or material in your kit that you absolutely can't live without?
So there's quite a few, and this is a really good question. So for those who are not diorama people, but if you are, or if you're trying to get into it, the first thing that you need to get is a square, like a carpenter's square, an adjustable carpenter's square. Okay. The second piece of equipment that you need, if you're going to do the types of dioramas that I do, is you need a foam cutter of some sort, with a hot wire foam cutter. That just does what you need it to do. It really is like the ultimate tool. You can't really start without it for me, and every time I do a diorama build series, I try to show you what the hot wire cutter can do. And in the next one, when we get to Endor, you're going to really see the value in it. It can do so much. It doesn't just cut foam. It shapes foam. It sculpts the foam. It can do lots and lots. So a wire cutter. And then everything else, if you watch my series, I'm a huge fan of don't spend a lot of money on stuff. You've already got it in your house. Like, go to the dollar store and buy the cheapest white glue you can. You don't need stuff like you don't need to go to the hobby store and spend $25 on a bag of tiny rocks because you've got garlic that looks just like it, right? Like,
yeah,
be creative, think about it. Like you can go to your tree out in the backyard and take some moss off of it and use that moss. You don't have to spend a ton of money on craft moss and so all those types of simple things. 99 times out of 100, the paint that I use is the cheapest Walmart or Hobby Lobby paint that you can buy, because you're just using it to sort of tint things, and then you go in later with powders and tiny things of paint, but you don't have to spend a lot of money on this to do it at all. Yeah.
Some good, just what is it, like a good Vallejo cheap Walmart paint, or is that
even
a little
like
bit
apple barrel, like
apple
the really
barrel
cheap, so when I do one, what I'll do is I use a lot of homemade plaster Paris. And I use toilet paper, water, and glue, and I make this. When it dries, it's this incredibly hard, very durable substance. And you can shape it and sculpt it and do all the things that you want with it, like paper mache. It's paper mache. But what I'll do is, if I want to look like Tatooine, you put the cheap yellow or beige paint from Walmart into that mix, so that way it's already that color when you go to do it. And so you're getting a lot of bang for your buck, as opposed to painting, a surface. So I try to do things like that. And so cheap paint, cheap Apple Barrel and Walmart paints are big. And then probably the secret sauce to everything that I do is white glue, like white PVC glue. So yeah, those would be the things that if you want to get into diorama building, use that. And then the other thing finally is toilet paper. Toilet paper.
Interesting.
Yep.
Why?
Yep. That's the basis. Because it breaks up so beautifully. You can rip it up real easy. It makes, when it hardens, it makes this unbelievably durable paper mache. And I find that it's probably the best paper mache when you combine it with the glue. It's incredible. So those are the things that are the basis of every single diorama that I do. Yeah.
Very good. So foam cutter, some good glue, and what was the first thing?
Paint and toilet paper.
Paint and
Really.
toilet paper. Okay.
Yeah, cheap paint
Nice.
and toilet paper. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't go out and Hyper said, don't go out and spend a ton of money on this stuff. You have probably a lot of this stuff in your house already. And if not, you can go and pick up what you need. So
Just watch any of my
nice.
how-to videos, and I'll show you how to take your spice cabinet and turn it into Geonosis, or your driveway gravel into Tatooine or whatever. Like, it's really not a big deal. It's pretty easy.
Yeah. His Hyper's stuff is great. Everyone, if you haven't already, make sure you're following him and go and check out his channel, Hyperdrive Collections 6460, and you can learn a ton from his diorama breakdowns.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, man. So moving it right along, if Lucasfilm gave you creative control, what kind of Star Wars movie or show would you make?
So this is my favorite question of all time. So I would be doing Clone Troopers in a Band of Brothers type scenario, Saving Private Ryan type scenario. It would be,
oh, dude, yes,
R-rated, or borderline R-rated clone combat, like real deal clone combat. You can leave the Jedi out of it. You can put them in it. It doesn't matter, because this is about clone trench, like
warfare,
guerrilla warfare.
Okay.
The other thing I would say, and this is probably tangential to it, is I would want to do a zombie themed Walking Dead-esque type of survival type of thing, like that episode in the Clone Wars when Dr. Nuvo Vindi makes that terrible virus on Naboo, and and I'm like, what if that virus got out and infected an entire planet and it was all zombified? Like, I would want to do something like that. That would be a fun one to do as well.
Wow, that's a great idea. I do think I remember that part in the Clone Wars too.
Yeah, it was cool.
And I think a Band of Brothers Clone Trooper-esque show or movie would be right up my alley. That's for sure, because I love Band of Brothers.
You could really make a show more almost like an Andor subject material. Make it a little bit less kid friendly. Do a really gritty clones show, right? Like, bring it. That's what I think that's what people want. I don't know what Disney has this preoccupation with not going down the clone thing in these shows. I don't understand it,
I don't understand it either, because they're so popular. Everyone wants Clone Trooper Black Series figures, and I don't blame them. They're cool. My favorite is the Phase 1.
I love it. Me too. I'm a Phase 1 guy. Yep.
All day. It's got the Mandalorian visor. It's got the kind of frowny face. It's got the hood or whatever this is.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Great answer, Hyper. Very good, man.
Thank you.
Well, very good, dude. We went through some awesome questions, and thank you so much for answering and giving us some cool backstories on everything. That was really, really epic. And so speaking of your dioramas, did you happen to have any dioramas to do some, like a little show and tell with in your room there?
Well, as a matter of fact, let me go get something that I forgot to get when I started. So give me one moment. I'll be right back.
No worries. Take your time. Fantastic, everyone. Yes, Stone, the fin. That is right. The fin on the Phase 1 Clone Trooper there. I love that fin there. It looks so freaking cool. So right on. And thank you, everyone, again, for coming in and hanging out during your Friday night. I really appreciate it. We've been going for about a little over an hour and a half now. We made it up to 15 people max in the stream at one point, so that's pretty freaking awesome. So just thank you again for that. Looks like Mr. Hyper's back.
Okay.
With his diorama. Nice. Right on. Welcome back, my friend.
Okay, thanks. Sorry about that. I forgot to get these when we started. So
no worries. You're totally good.
In the last section of the diorama build series that I did, I was showing we were sort of detailing something, and I had a piece of tinfoil down on the bottom as sort of a build plate, and I'll show you where we're at in where those are. So
perfect.
Ultimately, what we do is I've made 14 of these little islands, these little swamp islands. And
Wow.
so what they are is it's a foam base, pink foam base, and then the brown surface that you see there, there's a that brown surface is moss and paint. And I just chopped up moss from my yard and brown paint, and that's what gives it that sort of organic surface. And then the rest of it is just the twigs are from my yard,
Mhm.
and these are painted black with Mod Podge, and then a selection of plants, hanging plants that I cut down into smaller versions. So what you do is you make these little islands like this, and then when you have several of them together, you can sort of position them how you want. And this particular build, I have a base, and the base is going to be that water effect that you might see other professional model makers make.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be a poured water surface, and we'll put some swampy type things in the water, and I've got some branches sticking out of the water. But then the idea is that these islands will then be able to be positioned all around that water, so then you'll be able to make different channels or different little alcoves and things within the swamp itself. So
Wow.
so where we're at right now is I showed in the last sequence, these were the two that we're building, and they're still actually on the foil, and I'm in the process of putting the vegetation down on them. So the vegetation and the trees and the foliage, they go in stages. So first you put down the trees, then you put down the big stuff, and then you put down the second biggest stuff, and then you put down the little things. And so we're just about to start putting down the smallest little parts of the vegetation. So,
Wow.
and
Man,
yeah, go
it
ahead.
looks incredible.
Oh, thank you. Well,
Yeah, dude.
the thing is when you see it together, so the sum is greater than the individual parts,
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I've done is I've made these backgrounds. I took some fabric that looked like a star field, and I've put them on some boards, and I've rubber cemented them to the boards. So you have this very cool like night sky background, and then when you light it with different lighting, it creates different star field effects. And
Oh.
right, so like in the Tatooine diorama I did the Junlin Wastes Tatooine build diorama,
Mhm.
and I had a star field, and the way you light it, so what you do is you put it in a dark room, you put the star field back of the diorama, and then you light the star field at different angles and different positions, and then creates all kinds of different effects, lighting effects for different scenes and shots. So
Wow.
lighting and dioramas and all of those things, it's kind of like, you start to experiment with it. And I think a lot of people, one of my favorite tricks to do is, when you see a diorama, a lot of times it's in a brightly lit room under a million lights. There's no shadows or any of that. But the longer you do it, the more you realize, well, you want those shadows, you want the darkness, you want that negative space to interact with the diorama, because that's where you get depth and warm and cold and all these other things. So if you were to check out some of my shorts, the Tatooine is the most recent one I've done. You can see what I've done with lighting and the diorama elements. And there's a couple of build breakdowns that sort of showcase the individual elements. And so the diorama itself is only part of the equation.
Sure.
The lighting and how you position things for depth is really important. So
Wow.
when I try to build a diorama, a lot of people make a base, a back, a top, a side, and they put things in what's basically like a large shoebox. And that's fine. That's fine. That's definitely its own style. But when I do it, I try to make elements, and I can position those elements in different ways and get different shots out of the same thing. And I like to do it that way, because then you can take a swamp piece like this and you can take it out of that swamp element and you can put it in a desert element for an oasis, or you do a lot of different things. And then depending on how you light it and what your background is, you have all different types of options. So these are the things that I try to go over in my videos. So if that's of interest, you might find it helpful. So
Yeah, and it's so freaking cool, man. The creativity, the ideas, like you said, to get the lighting down and the backdrops and the textures of, of your swamp and stuff with the different foliage, and it's so extravagant. And Connor mentioned earlier, he was like, "Take my money, Hyper." Looks phenomenal.
we have in this group right now, we have our people in chat right now, and there are some incredibly talented people who I've learned just as much from. If they've learned anything from me, I've learned twice as much from them. And it's always evolving. Like Timbo Toys, the man who needs no introduction, is an incredibly talented diorama builder. Let's see. Gen X Brian has started to dabble in it. Stone Mandalorian has dabbled in it. But there's also, I don't know if anybody's familiar with Wentzilla, but Wentzilla is an incredibly talented customizer. Okay. Incredible. Wentzilla Creations. He's worth checking out. Okay. There are many. My buddy on the G.I. Joe side of things, the Savage Land, he is incredible. He's got, I know G.I. Joe isn't everybody's thing here, but you should check it out anyways, just for the setups. They will blow your mind. They'll blow your mind. They're incredible what he can do. And he's now dabbling in AI. So he's taking dioramas and pictures, and now he's animating them so that they come alive. It's unbelievable.
That's awesome. What you can basically do limitless stuff and endless things in that aspect, combining AI with your dioramas for sure.
So I sent Savage Land a couple of custom G.I. Joe figures, and he didn't tell me what he was doing with them. And then he sent me a link to this video, and it's his AI video that he did. And my custom G.I. Joe figures were animating through AI, and it almost made me cry. It was so crazy because it's like, I made that, but he, so there's different levels of artistry. There's the artist, and then there's what others can do with your art, and that's its own specialty, and that's what's so fun about this community,
Yeah, absolutely, man. What a cool thing to do, Hyper. You're making your own custom figures, you're making your own custom dios. It's art at the end of the day. So I think that's just so cool that you're doing that.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, shoot, I'm going to try to sneak in here. We got about 15 minutes left of Hyper's time, everyone.
Yep.
Hyper does have a limited schedule tonight, so I think we're going to get into some MacFarlane Toys show and tell. I think I see a couple behind you, bud. So I also see you got a Scout Trooper up there.
I do. So you and I have our love of Scout Troopers.
Yeah.
And this is the Hot Toys Scout Trooper. This is the one with the rifle. I think this is the one you have, isn't it?
That is the one I have. That's freaking killer.
So this is my favorite of the Hot Toys that I own. So I own some cool Hot Toys. And the Scout Trooper is, you can pick up that Scout Trooper boxed for maybe about $150 or less. Like it's not the most expensive one, but it is my favorite one. Like that one never goes away. He deserves another look. Like he does. This is
the detail on that thing. The fabric suit means you can pose him any way you'd like, and he's not going to crease or anything.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. He's about to take out some Ewoks right there, huh?
Oh yeah. Yes, he is. You better believe that, so that is my favorite. Yeah. And we'll do a Hot Toys. I'll do a Hot Toys video, down the road. I have a few of them.
Yeah.
They're great. They're fun and everything. But the reality is I try to keep it to toys. Like I'm more of a toy guy than a collectible guy. And Hot Toys are like at the absolute limit of what a toy is before they go into art piece, and so I try not to do too many of them. But having said that, so you want to do the MacFarlane, some MacFarlane stuff?
Sure, let's get into some MacFarlane. Yeah, we got some time left.
Well, so today, as a matter of fact, my wife sent me to Whole Foods,
Mhm.
and so it's about a 35-minute drive one way. So I'm like, well, if I'm going to Whole Foods, I might as well swing by the Target and see what they got.
Yeah.
So I go to the Target, and my Target never has shit, right? Like they never have it. They just don't. I don't know what it is, but they do have a clearance section, and now and then you'll find something crazy in the
Mhm.
clearance section. So I happen to go in there, and I have been eyeballing this figure on the shelf for a year and a half, and I finally found it on clearance today.
No
That
way.
is this animated Batman, this particular one here with the lockup, the build a figure is
Whoa.
lockup, and this one is really good. So a lot of people like the cell shading animation style that a lot of the Marvel Legends figures are doing cell shading,
Mhm.
and MacFarlane is doing his own cell shading. So the animated series, there's a lot of cell shading on these figures, and I love it because it's that original Batman animated series cell shading. So I think it's like prime. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful figure. But this one here, so I go and I'm very excited because it says 14.99 on it, down from like $30. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pop on this. So I go, and this happens to me rarely, if ever. So I'm like, I'll pay 14.99 for this. So I go to the thing, and when I go to check out at Target, it says, please see cashier. And I'm like, what?
Oh no.
Like I'm thinking like it got marked up and that it's wrong or something. And here
Yeah.
she comes. She's gonna like spoil my thunder. You know what I mean? And 4.99. I got it for
What?
4.99.
No freaking way,
4.99.
man.
Yeah. So I was
Wow.
like, you got to be kidding me. I've got the receipt. I swear to God, 4.99. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely buying.
That's a
So
no-brainer.
yeah, it's a really nice figure. It's on the smaller side. So if you're a McFarlane collector,
Mhm.
the Batman animated figures, there's a whole bunch of them, and they all have these Build-A-Figure parts in them. They're smaller. They're a little bit like more like a 6-inch scale figure. These
Okay.
animated ones.
And
They're
it's
like
still McFarlane.
it's still McFarlane.
Gotcha.
The animated ones in that animated box, let's say they're like it's like about the size of Wrecker in the Black Series, like
Okay.
about that height. So like
Yeah.
they're like right in that Wrecker height. So yeah, okay, it's like a little bit bigger than a Black Series figure, but it's right in the mix. So that's what this scale is. And so when I ever saw that I got that for $5. I was very happy
Wow.
about
You
that.
never find figures for $5, especially as cool as that.
You really don't like, and
Yeah,
especially me, like it
sure.
just doesn't happen. It never happens. Or like my Target is notorious for, oh, it's been marked down. It's on clearance. It's $29.99 regularly, and today it's $28.99, and you're like, wow, wow.
What a deal, man.
Yeah, it's a great deal. I drove all the way here, for that. But
Gosh.
so yeah, that's really the only McFarlane pickup that I have. But
Sure.
I did. So I took a page out of my co-host Stone Mandalorian's playbook, and
Very
he did a
nice.
video. He did a video recently about supporting your local comic book shop. And
Mhm.
so I was vacillating whether or not I was going to show this on tomorrow's Stone and Hyper show, but no, I'm going to show you tonight. All right.
Yes, that's
So
right.
I went to my favorite comic book shop last weekend, and my wife visited her family, and I was like, peace out. I'm going to go to the comic book shop. And I walk in, and it just so happened that I have been completing, or not completing, I have been recollecting my favorite 4-inch vehicles boxed. And I found this one
Oh,
boxed. And I'm very
okay.
excited.
Ooh, let's see what
I
it
got
is.
the Attack of the
Oh,
Clones
no way.
Slave One, the
No
Attack of the Clones
way.
Saga box. The box is absolutely mint. There isn't a scratch or a ding on it. It's so
Whoa,
cool. Yeah,
dude.
I'm pretty
That's like
psyched
your
about that.
favorite. I know it's probably like one of your favorite ships.
It is. So this
Yeah.
one in particular, it's fun. It's got action features on it. It holds 3 figures, but there's a button that you press and it shoots out in the front of the ship. It's got this missile firing thing. And it's actually, as an action feature goes, it's super cool. And
Yeah.
you don't see it unless you press the button and it pops out. So it's actually really cool. But
Man, what a great
yeah,
scene from Attack of the Clones too, when
the
he's chasing
best.
down Obi-Wan with the seismic charge.
Right? Like that. I think that ranks as one of the all-time best scenes ever in Star Wars, right? Like,
Yeah,
I think.
absolutely.
Oh, what's that? Support your shop. That's right, man. I did. So I
Yeah.
yeah, I was pretty excited about that. That was a good one. But
Nice.
I also got, when I was there, a couple of other things, couple of other little pickups. I do collect the vintage Star Wars comics, and
Okay.
I picked up 3 comics when I was there. So I
Oh,
got a
no way,
few of
man.
the issues that I needed. This particular cover is very cool. It's C-3PO and R2 in space, and very
Oh,
cool.
what?
And then this one here. So these are the 3 issues that they had. Look at that cover. That's just a cool ass cover,
Wow.
you know. So
That is a cool cover.
so
Man.
I am 55 issues short of completing the. There's 107 in the original run. I've got just under half, so I've got plenty to go. But these are always fun.
That is so cool, man. Wow, some of those could be like framed. They're so awesome, the front
They're
covers.
they're really cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're really cool. And then finally, I picked up these 2 while I was there. And I picked up a Cobb Vanth.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Very
which
good.
I really love Cobb Vanth, and so I saw this for short money, and I picked it up. So I got
Such a
that.
cool card back figure.
It's really cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought he was a real standout in all the Disney shows. To be honest with you, but
absolutely. I wanted more. It was fun to see his story arc in Mandalorian.
oh yeah, no, I'm excited.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was cool. And then I picked up this really nice Ahsoka figure.
Oh, wow.
So
With Grogu.
this is fantastic, and I bought it specifically for this was $5. Like
No
I
kidding.
and I really wanted the oh man, Jesus, what's this little guy's name? The little owl there.
It's not a porg, is it?
It's not a porg. It's from the Ahsoka show. There's like those owls that
Yeah.
kept following around.
Yeah.
And Brian Myers, he's gonna kick my ass. He knows the name of those things, but he corrected me the last time he was on our show. So
Oh, very
I
nice.
can't remember it, but anyways, those are my comic book shop pickups. So
Wow.
I was excited.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Stone was saying, support your local shops if you have them.
And it's true too. What everybody says is if you go in there and you're cool with them and you talk with them, they want to move that merchandise. So they put that together for me in a package, and I probably saved about $30 buying all that stuff together. Like
That's amazing. That's really good. And like you said,
20,
five for the
five.
Ahsoka.
Yeah. And then the comic books were each like $7 a piece. They gave them to me for $3.50, half price. And then the ship was $55. They sold it to me for $45. So, I mean, there's plenty of wiggle room, so,
Yeah.
I saved probably close to, I don't know, somewhere between 20 and $30, so
That's awesome.
it was awesome.
It's worth it because toys are just getting more expensive by the day now. So
Yeah. And, that's the other thing too, is like, so people are rightfully concerned about the tariffs and not just in Star Wars collecting, but across the board. And, my answer to that is, okay, fine. I can't stop that. That's going to be what it is. And it's going to last however long it lasts. But, there's plenty of other things to collect out there. And so it's a great time to go to your comic shop, fill some holes in your collection, maybe explore another Star Wars line that's of interest. It's a great time to pick up stuff like that. There's deals.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, they want to move the merch. They want to move their product, so they're going to move it.
Yeah,
and Stone says that the owls are called the Morai.
The Morai, that's right.
Morai.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
Nice. Very good, Stone. Let's see.
Yeah.
It's Gen X Brian. Sorry, I'm on a slight delay. Lindor just heart rate. Pop 9. Mets win.
Oh,
Okay, nice. Mets
okay.
win. Stone was right. Yeah. Nice. Right on. Well, thank you for showing us, Hyper. I have, I showed off the custom figure here already. So if people have seen that, if you've been watching this whole time, the custom Kit Bash Rit dyed figure.
That is
But I
a
also,
downright banger, dude.
oh, dude, thank you very much. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. It turned out well. I like how the colors changed from the Master Soul body, which is a yellow and kind of a cream and brown colors.
Mm-hmm.
So another one that I snagged was from the Monday night co-host of, Monday Night Figure Ball co-host, Mr. Coffee, sold me one of his SH Figure Arts. This is the SH Figure Arts Combat Tank Assault Commander.
Nice. That's a great figure. Yeah.
And this figure, if you can believe it, is 8 years old, and it looks phenomenal still.
I actually, I just did I've been cataloging my SH Figure Arts collection, and I just did my Rogue One and Solo figures, and I just did it yesterday or 2 days ago, and he was in my hands, that figure.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he is great. He's got good weathering,
Yep.
good articulation. He comes with alternate hands and stuff. So overall, I'm definitely loving the imports.
That is, Rogue One had such great trooper designs.
Absolutely.
Rogue One and Solo. Solo had some killer trooper designs, between the tank commander and the Imperial Patrol trooper. Is great stuff.
Oh, yeah. And I think Rogue One is that where we first saw the Shore Trooper? That's one of my favorite designs, too.
Yeah, that was Shore Trooper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome design.
And then my last pickup that I have is none other than the man himself.
Elite figure, right?
Right.
Oh yeah.
There's just something about him. He's special, and he's definitely going to be contender for Figure of the Year. That's without a doubt.
I think without batting an eye, I can say that's top 5 in the whole line, right? But man, there's so many, like we started with this. There are some figures coming out that are going to completely jostle all of our favorites. What we think of our favorites now are going to all change by the end of this year.
Yeah, I got to give it to you there. That's facts. There's some great looking stuff coming.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Savage, one of the best in the line. That's without a doubt.
So does he surpass Malgus now? Yeah, I'm feet to the fire, gun to the head. Is he better than Malgus or not quite?
You know what, Hyper? I think he is better than Malgus. I know. I'm saying it here. You heard it here first, folks.
Wow.
There's just something about him. He's really cool. The only thing about Malgus that I'm not super into would maybe be the cloth cape on the back. Mm-hmm. I don't know what happened to mine. It's just a little funky, but it's fine. Not smelling wise. It just looks a little weird. So yeah. Top 5 in the line, no doubt, or 10. Stone says.
Top, right? Exactly. Wait a minute. Stone's going to say at any moment he's going to go, Savage is my boy.
Savage is my boy.
He's my boy. Right, yeah, exactly. Right.
And Stone says, what? Better than Malgus? I know, Stone. I know. Mm-hmm. And I still love Malgus. He is my boy. But
I'll tell you what, right now, Jacob, you still need to get Darth Malak.
Darth Malak. Okay.
So
gotcha.
So I was actually looking at that figure. I took him out of the box the other day and I was looking at him and I'm like, Jesus, this figure is in my top 10. I just can't, something about him, the jaw that they did is just so great. And if you don't have that one, you should seriously consider getting that one too.
Okay. I'm gonna have to pick him up because I think you can still pre-order him off of Big Bad if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And he's just as big as Malgus.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's just as big. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know he was like a bigger statured figure.
Yeah, he's pretty big, man. He's I know he's got a presence to him, especially on the Sith shelf. Like that red and that sort of brownish cape is just super rad, man.
Yeah. Okay, nice. Good call. I'm gonna have to pick up Malak because I'm building a Sith shelf right now for sure.
Oh yeah, well, okay.
Mostly Sith, yeah, because Balin's in there.
Well, listen, unfortunately, I have to get back to work. I had coverage until 10 p.m. I'm a nurse and I'm working right now, and somebody covered for me, so I have to go back to my work, unfortunately.
No worries, Hyper. Thank you so much for your time, my friend. I really, really do appreciate it. This has been such an awesome show, and I'll probably stick around, chat, and just talk to you guys for a little bit longer. But hey, if you haven't, make sure you go and follow Hyperdrive Collections 6460 on YouTube and check out all of his awesome custom artwork. He does dioramas, he does custom figures and tutorial breakdowns. So lots of cool stuff. And you've been a great guest, Hyper. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Thank you. Happy Easter, everybody. And Celtics sweep.
There you go. Happy Easter, and may the force be with the Celtics.
What's that? Say that again.
I said happy Easter, and hopefully may the force be with the Celtics.
That's right. Please. We need it. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you, Hyper. Have a good one, man. You take it easy, buddy.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye now. All right. Chat, well, thank you so much. This has been an awesome episode. Oh, there it is. Stoned. He said, Savage is my boy. There it is. That's what we wanted to hear. And yeah, have a good rest of your shift, Hyper. We appreciate you for what you do for people out there with your nursing gigs and stuff like that. So yeah. Well, everybody, we have reached the Tatooine Talk segment of our show. That is where we talk about whatever you guys want. We have, Star Wars shows coming up. We have other shows. If you're into some cool books, if you're into movies, other figure lines like NECA, and there's just so much out there to collect nowadays. It's crazy. So we've been going for a little bit over 2 hours. We've had up to 15 people in here in the chat and the live stream tonight. Right now, we just got up to 7, now down to 6. So we'll slowly wind it down here. And if there's anything left that you guys want to talk about, then let me know and we can get into it here. Eternal Mother says, thanks, Hyper. Great guest. Yes, he was a very good guest. Fantastic. And Gen X Brian, I'm out working early tomorrow morning. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate you, my man. Hopefully you have a great rest of your night and have a fantastic weekend. So appreciate you again for always dropping by, Gen X Brian. It means a lot, buddy. So I'm finishing up with the very last episode of Severance. Severance is a TV show that you can watch on Apple TV Plus. You can also stream it through Prime Video, I believe. And that's a fantastic show. So if you guys haven't seen the show Severance, that's a really cool show to check out. It stars Adam Scott, Britt Lauer, Zach Cherry, and John Turturro, and they're all fantastic actors. So highly would recommend checking that show out there. One thing I did want to go over was on Big Bad Toy Store, I got a email that some of the figures are they actually went down in price. So for right now, like for example, the Star Wars Black Series, mine was the Night Trooper. It went down in cost. See, now they're $25.99 and they went up to $27.99 actually. So keep an eye out for some figures that are going down in price because you may be able to get pre-orders now for a little bit cheaper. This one also says that excludes the tariff surcharge, so you don't have to pay the tariffs when it actually does ship out. So I thought that was pretty cool. Another thing that I saw was on these figures here, there is, oh no, it's the same thing. It excludes their tariff surcharge. Okay, never mind. So anyway, that's just some new stuff that I noticed on Big Bad Toy Store. So not everyone's going to be charging tariffs, it looks like, which is nice because, well, at least they're on pause right now. So we don't have to worry about them for right now. So that's good. So yeah. I don't know if I have anything else to go over tonight, chat. It looks like we kind of went through everything. The one thing I did want to go over was This is the SH Figure Arts Han Solo, and we just saw the brand new Han Solo tonight. So I'm just wondering what everyone thinks, if you're gonna like save up and get the SHF, or if you're gonna save up and grab the Black Series. What do you guys think? Those must be in the States already or something. Okay, that makes sense, Stone, that they don't have to import them. So that's why the tariff surcharge has gone down. Probably going to grab the Black Series, he says. Okay, right on. Yeah, I mean, it looks so freaking good, the Black Series. It looks a little bit more close to like a Harrison Ford likeness, in my opinion. The SHF, it looks phenomenal, obviously. But yeah, the SHF Han Solo and some of their other figures just in general maybe don't always look like the exact like photoreal like the Hasbro does. Like the Anakin Skywalker one, for example, I didn't think it looked just like Hayden Christensen. So Galactic Artisan says Black Series for sure. And Stone, yeah, that's what I'm thinking anyways with the tariffs. And yeah, they do have an animated likeness. That is the perfect way to describe it, actually, Stoned, is they have more of an animated likeness as opposed to like a real actor likeness. So yeah, a good way to put it is it's more animated. And for example, if we went and looked at the Chewbacca, this one really looks like a Sasquatch. So I'm definitely picking up the Black Series Chewbacca because I think it looks much, much better. So anyway, interesting stuff there. I've seen in-hand pics of this from Coffee from Monday Night Figure Ball, and it looks better in hand. Oh, is that right, Stoned? Okay, interesting. I mean, I guess the color grading on this looks pretty good. It's a little bit more of a darker color compared to the Black Series one that's coming out. Oh, the Han Solo. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, I think it does look really good. So it's just if you want to pay the SHF price, it does have a higher price point on it. So Stone says, yeah, true, Jacob. So lots of cool stuff that we went over tonight, though. I'm really glad that we're getting a new Han in the line, and that we're going to be getting Dash Rendar, that we're getting Marin finally. And the Cal Kestis Pack 2 is really cool. It's not necessarily my vibe, not my shelf type of thing. But for those who want it, I still love the video game. I thought it was a fantastic video game. Jedi Fallen Order was great too. Just the whole Jedi series was awesome. And I think they're going to make a third one. So we'll finally get, I think, the end story of Cal Kestis. I also heard that they might make an HBO show or something like that, or a Disney Plus show for Jedi Survivor. Definitely not HBO. Sorry about that. But yeah, very interesting. Chewbacca looking a little skinny. He does look a little skinny, actually. Yeah, like he's been stuck on a deserted island. So, well, everyone, this has been a fantastic stream. I really appreciate Hyper's time and for being a guest on the channel. It was fantastic. And we may change the stream from Friday nights to another day of the week. I think my work schedule is going to change up here. So if anyone's still free to check out the show on another day of the week, it might be like a Wednesday night or something like that, then I really appreciate it. Other than that, you must be hitting the Ozempic. Nice. That's hilarious. And Stone says, great stream, homie. Thank you, Stone. I really appreciate it. We're going to wind down here. Been going for a little over 2 hours, so not one of the longer streams, but definitely not one of the shorter ones either. So thank you, everyone, for your time, whatever works best for you. Yeah, thank you, Stone. I really appreciate it, man. I'll keep everyone up to date with the new stream schedule and stuff like that. So yeah, everyone, I really appreciate your time again. And this is just so fun to be able to do this and to be a part of this community. I just get so much gratitude and there's so much support in it as well. So anyway, I'll stop yapping for now. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your night. Enjoy your weekend. I believe Monday is a holiday, so enjoy the long weekend if you have Monday off. Not everyone does, so sorry if you don't. And Galactic says, awesome stream, dude. Great stream. Paul was fun to learn about. Yes, he sure was. Good night, everyone. Yes, everyone have a fantastic rest of your night. I'm going to play one clip to take you out, and I will see you in a few weeks. And again, I'll keep everyone updated on the stream schedule changing. So with that being said, may the force be with you. I'm Jacob, aka Star Wars Collective, and have a great rest of your night. May the force be with you, and see you next time.